firstly, I suppose they're unique in the sense that where Turner was in the mid-1820s is very evident from his finished watercolours, because these paintings relate to the watercolour technique and what his innovations and perfection of that particular medium. We have other things in the collections here in the United Kingdom that demonstrate that in oil painting, but not on such a grand scale. So these two paintings, although not really thought of by Turner as a pair, nonetheless, because of the similar scale of the paintings and because they happen to be two foreign sort of harbour scene and a riverfront, Dieppe and Cologne, underscore Turner's his identity, artistic identity, as a great travelling artist. I mean, he travelled up to the age of 70, often on the continent after the war period of 1815. So all those innovations, that focus on watercolour, the perfection of that particular technique, the way what he learned from watercolour was, of course, to start with the light going into dark. So you start with the base of light and then you work it up into the darker shades, which is the complete reverse with oil painting. So he learned this technique through watercolour and then transposed it to these two paintings. And probably, I would say, what they mark in terms of the moment that he exhibits them in 1825 and 1826 is a direction of travel that's going to become very much part of Turner's identity as a modern painter. That he is the great modernizer of the tradition of Claude Lorraine and other old masters, using techniques that actually neither Claude Lorraine and others would have used in the 17th century. So he's the great modernizer. And when you look at these paintings, although the subject itself, particularly with Dieppe, is so clearly a Claudian harbour scene or seaport, which of course were in the National Gallery's collection when it was founded in 1824, you can see that actually he's transitioning away from what is clearly a Claude theme into something that's very much a modern work of art in 1825. And rather than a classical scene, of course, this is a modern scene of modern Dieppe, a bustling harbour scene, everyday life, people going about their business, but in a way that suggests that he's elevating the everyday into a classical theme. Well, I think it's probably the right of an artist to sort of create a work of art that is both representative but also artistic and sort of painterly. And there's no doubt that in the 1820s Turner is particularly turning to the colour yellow and chrome, which of course there are variations in terms of light, medium, dark chrome, but this is quite an expensive paint to use. It was only really formulated a few years before this painting was actually created, so he was using this yellow colour would have been demonstrating how cutting edge he was in terms of the use of colour. And Turner was always on the latest colours when they came out, and often would have to sort of almost beg, borrow and steal these colours because they were by no means regularly used across the art world. So there's that kind of innovation, both in the technique of creation of colour used in this kind of painting, is also why these paintings have a kind of such a modernity to them.